Going on, everybody? It's Key Time coming back with another one to talk about the NBA Game Threes last night between the Cleveland Cavaliers, Orlando Magic, New York Knicks versus the Philadelphia 76ers and the Denver Nuggets versus the Los Angeles Lakers. But how is everybody? It's a good Friday morning at 10:10 a.m. in the year of our Lord 2024. Now, let's get into the show. Now, the first game that was on air yesterday was the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Orlando Magic. Now, I expected for the Orlando Magic to have a different type of intensity coming home to a packed out arena, and they obviously did not disappoint. I mean, from opening tip, they had to make a statement, and they did make a statement in Game Three last night. I mean, they blew out the Cleveland Cavaliers. They got up to as many points as 40. No, excuse me, as 32. It was a 32-point lead in the third quarter. They also at the final score they ended up almost getting 50. They ended up almost getting 40. They ended up at the end of the game. They led by 38 points, and that was the final score, 121-83. So now, what I saw from the Cavaliers last night was basically their top stars had a bad game. When you see what their stars did, Jared Allen had 15 points. Evan Mobley had 10 points. Donovan Mitchell had 13 points. Chris LeVert had 15 points. Sam Morrell had 9 points. George's Niang had 7 points. And as far as their bench points, the bench was non existent last night. The bench only had 15 points. And we saw a whole different Cleveland Cavaliers team than we seen the first two games. Now at home they are okay, but they had some road woes, throughout the regular season, and now at least for game 3 last night, it transpired in game 3 last night. As far as the defense concerned, they wasn't able to defend for about a good 4 or 5 minute stretch. The Orlando Magic made 7 or 8 consecutive shots, and in the first quarter, they were up by 15 after the first quarter. Going into halftime, they were up by 16. And I was saying to myself, I'm like, different level of intensity that the Orlando Magic had. And as far as defense, they shut 2 of the Cavaliers' top 3 players down. Well, they basically shut everybody down because everybody on the Cavaliers, they played under their regular season totals. We all know that Donovan Mitchell, he averaged 27 points per game. He only had 13 last night. Jared Allen, he have his normal 22 points. He only had 15 last night. So, and as far as the Magic concerned, oh my goodness, the Magic, Pablo Banchero, he had 31 points. Franz Wagner had 16 points. Jalen Suggs, he was balling last night. He had 24 points, 3 assists, and 4 rebounds in only 28 minutes of play. He was efficient last night. We all know that Pablo Banchero was going to get most of the attention like he has been getting throughout this series. But a couple of bench players came off the bench, put up 10 plus points. Markel Fultz put up 11 points. Cole Anthony, he put up 10 points. And Jonathan Isaac, he put up 8 points, which was also a big help. As far as when they got to the fourth quarter, the game was a blowout. They were up by 25. They pulled out all of their starters and put in the bench players, and we saw how that bench and cohesiveness with the bench production was awesome. I'm going to give y'all a few stats before I go to the next series game that we saw last night. Total rebounds, the Orlando Magic out-rebounded the Cleveland Cavaliers by 19. They had 51 total rebounds. The Cavaliers had 32. Defensive rebounds, Orlando out-rebounded the Cavaliers by 10. And also points in the paint. The Orlando Magic had 48 and the Cavaliers had 42. Turnovers. Now, as far as turnovers, that's what hurt the Cavaliers the most. They had 14 turnovers in the game, and the Orlando Magic only had 8. Now, Orlando Magic in games 1 and 2 had 10 plus turnovers in both games. Last night, they decreased their turnover differential last night. From the first game, they had 14. The second game, they had 16. To last night, they only had 18. So, the next game is game 4. Can Orlando even the series up? I think that they'll be able to even the series up. But like I said, before the start of this series, I said it would be Cavs in 6. And I'm still sticking with my prediction on that series. Now, the next series I want to talk about is the New York Knicks and Philadelphia 76ers. Now, we all know that the Philadelphia 76ers was due for a breakout game last night. Everybody on the Philadelphia 76ers played ball last night. I mean, starting off with Joel Embiid, he had 50 points. He almost had a double-double. He had 50 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. Now, that is a person that was on a mission last night. He was on a mission last night because he said that game 3, we not going down 3-0, and he took his challenge. He said, put it on my back and let's go. And that's exactly what he did, leading the team with 50 points. Tyrese Maxey, he had another breakout game with 25 points and 4 assists. 4 rebounds and 7 assists. Now, between Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, they had 75 points. Then you had Kelly Oubre Jr. He came off the bench and gave you 15 points. Tobias Harris, he had 8 points. Kyle Lowry, he had 9 points. Nicholas Batum, he going to have another breakout game. But as of last night, he only had 9 points. Cameron Payne had 11 points. And Paul Reed only had 3 points. Buddy Hield, he played 4 minutes, did not get any shots. So, what I seen from the 76ers last night is they went to Embiid early and often, and then they got Oubre involved, then Tyrese Maxey involved, and then they got Kyle Lowry, who is, at this point in his career, he is just a person out there that's strictly for defense. That's all, because the days of Kyle Lowry scoring 30, 35 points in a playoff series, that's behind him. So he's just strictly out there for defense. And he played very well last night as far as on the defensive side. He defended very well. And you need that with an older guy that is not able to produce as much offensive firepower than he did earlier in his career. Now, as far as the New York Knicks concerned, Jalen Brunson had a breakout game in a loss. He had 39 points last night. Josh Hart had 20 points. OG Anunoby had 17. Dante DiVincenzo had 5 points. They really shut Dante DiVincenzo down as far as the 76ers, because in game 2, he was the one that went off for 25 points in game 2. So they shut him down and neutralized him, and the New York Knicks had to go to other players like Miles McBride. He only had 8 points. Bojan Bogdanovic, he only had 5 points. So as far as the New York Knicks, they haven't lost their grip on this series. They still leading 2-1. And like I said, this game, this series, I believe it's going to go 7 games. And with the home court advantage that the New York Knicks have, I believe that it will be Knicks in 7. That's what I predicted before the series started. And that is what I'm sticking to. So, congratulations to the Philadelphia 76ers on winning game 3. Game 4 is tomorrow. Hopefully they can even up the series before it heads back to Madison Square Garden for game 5. And with that, no. And so for the next series is the Denver Nuggets. Next series I want to talk about is the Denver Nuggets and Los Angeles Lakers. What can I say about the Denver Nuggets? They haven't lost to the Los Angeles Lakers in almost a year and a half. Now, they had 4 players for the Denver Nuggets to each have at least 20 points. Aaron Gordon had 29 points and 15 rebounds, a double-double. Michael Porter Jr., he also had a double-double, 20 points and 10 rebounds. Nikola Jokic, Mr. Triple-Double himself, almost had a triple-double last night, 24 points, 15 rebounds, and 9 assists. Jamal Murray, the flamethrower as I like to call him, 22 points, 5 rebounds, and 9 assists. Now, all 4 of those guys had over 20 points. That is where the Denver Nuggets won this game. And even though the Lakers were up by 10 points in the first quarter, I had said, I'm like, Denver Nuggets, they're going to come back and win the game. And that's exactly what they did. Because the Denver Nuggets, they know how to defend the Lakers. Now, as far as when pressure-packed moments in this series, when it has gotten tight, let's say, if the Lakers have like a 6 or 7 point lead, they mentally, they think that they are down by 10 or 12 points, because within an instant, the Denver Nuggets can come right back and tie the game or take the lead like they did last night. There were 3 separate occasions in last night's game where the Lakers were up by 7 points, and within 2 shots, the Denver Nuggets had the lead. And then late in the third quarter, when it seemed like the Lakers were about to make a run, all of a sudden you had Michael Porter Jr. making some ridiculous shots that had no business going in. But hey, that's Michael Porter Jr.'s game. So when it comes to whether the Denver Nuggets are going to sweep the Lakers, man, the Lakers, they are between a rock and a hard place. Now, this is the only series that is 3-0 right now. And and no team has ever come back from 3-0. I'm gonna give y'all a list. No, not a list. I'm gonna give y'all the record of teams that go down 3-0 in a playoff series. They are 267. So basically, this series is over unless the Lakers They come out in game 4, 5, 6, and 7, and just shut down the Denver Nuggets, which I don't see that happening. I predicted the Lakers to win this series in 6 because reason why I predicted them in 6 is because they swept you last year, and I know that didn't go well. And then in the offseason, you had the Denver Nuggets talking smack about the Lakers. Come opening night, they also had a free-for-all. They won. The Denver Nuggets won over the Lakers opening night. Ever since, anything that goes right with the Lakers, and when they play the Denver Nuggets, any good thing that happens throughout the game, the Denver Nuggets have always won the game in the end. So, Rob Pelinka, I believe that this team needs a complete overhaul. Darvin Ham, he is in between a rock and a hard place. What the Lakers need to do, they need to get 2, maybe 3 big men, because outside of Anthony Davis, you have nobody that will stay close to Nikola Jokic. That's why Nikola Jokic can consistently score in the paint. Now, Jokic, he hardly ever shoot threes, but when he do shoot threes, he make them 9 out of 10 times. So when you have an efficient guy like that, it's almost impossible for a team like the Lakers to win. And then when you have the supporting cast, guys like Aaron Gordon scoring over 20 points a game, scoring 20 points in a game like this, it's going to hurt you. So I believe the Lakers, 1, 2, 3, Cancun, Mexico, Miami, wherever they going at for a vacation, here they go. Because game 4, who knows? Anything can happen in a 7-game series, but from the looks of it, I believe this series is over. And whoever the Denver Nuggets play in the next round, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You know what I think? I think that OKC, it'll be the Denver Nuggets and the OKC Thunder. And with the OKC Thunder having the number 1 seed, it's going to be a whole lot of pressure on them to close out the Denver Nuggets. That's if and when they get to the Western Conference Finals, because the LA Clippers, I don't see the LA Clippers beating the Denver Nuggets. I really don't. Or the Dallas Mavericks. I don't see the Dallas Mavericks beating the Denver Nuggets. And with that, those are my reactions from last night's Game 3s between the Denver Nuggets, Los Angeles Lakers, the New York Knicks, Philadelphia 76ers, and the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Orlando Magic. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell so that you can get notified of all my shows, reaction videos, content, and etc. And remember, another thing, the last thing I'm going to say, remember, the key is always on time.